Hey, what's up? I'm Drew. I'm a personal trainer and a bodybuilder of 4 or 5 years. Today, I want to let you know some of the basics, the things you need to know when you're getting into your fitness journey and let's just say you know nothing. So I'm going to talk to you like you know absolutely nothing. I want to talk about a goal that is getting healthy and getting consistent, and that is the number one thing you need to be concerned about. Before we talk about your actual physique goals, what you need to do is get consistent for health purposes. And so what does that look like? You need to look at your diet. And this is what I tell my new clients. Every new client I have, what I have them do is track their diet for 3, 4, 5 days without changing anything. And you can use tons of apps. I will link an app that I use personally that is very simple to track your diet. So the reason for tracking, now the goal is not to track forever, but the reason for tracking is so that you can understand where you're at now, and that way in the future we can make changes. So the first thing you need to do, track your diet for a few days. Don't be hard on yourself, just look at your numbers, and what you're gonna see is your calories. Okay, that's your total, but you're really concerned about your macronutrients. Your macronutrients are protein, fats, and carbs. There's also micronutrients, which are vitamins and minerals. That's not very relevant at this moment. So appropriate protein, fat, and carb intake is going to vary based on your person, but I will give you some basic advice that might help you out along the way. So first things first, let's talk about protein. When you are just trying to maintain what you've got, you want at least 0.8 grams per 1 pound of body weight of protein per day. Now, for somebody who's looking to gain muscle, you're gonna want at least 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. Hitting your protein goal per day can be very challenging for individuals who are not accustomed to doing that. And I know that from personal experience with my clients. For women, bottom of the barrel protein intake per day is 70 grams per day. And I've seen many clients not even hitting that number. And this is for health purposes only. For men, I can't remember the exact, I'm pretty sure it's 100 grams per day for bottom of the barrel, okay? And I'm already, me, an individual, 150 pounds, besides all the rest of the stuff about me, I'm already eating 165 grams. So you can see the big gap between 70 grams and 165 grams. Check out what you're eating. Check out how much you're getting in. That is very important, not just for physique change purposes, but also for body maintenance, such as tissue repair and just general function. We need protein to function. Okay, so next of all, carb intake. Your brain runs on glucose. That means you have to be eating carbs. I don't even want to address the keto issue. If we have questions about that, I will talk about it later. But you have to eat carbs, okay? You have to eat carbs. For a woman, let's say of my size, a low carb intake would be somewhere around 100 grams per day. That's very low. For example, one apple, about like a medium-sized apple, is about 25 to 30 grams of carbs. So that's a good reference point for you. One serving of oatmeal is 25 grams of carbs. I'm saying like the regular just oats, not the kind that has like other stuff, other shit in it. Just a regular serving of oats is gonna be 25 grams of carbs. So on a daily basis, I can't give you exact numbers because you are general. You're not the individual. I can help you out specifically. You can just send me an email and I'm happy to help you, give you some advice. Send me a message. Now let's talk about the fat content. So the function of fat in your diet is multifaceted, but one of the things that's very important is hormone regulation. So bottom of the barrel for men, I'm pretty sure we're looking at 75 grams of fat per day for men, bottom of the barrel. For women, 65 or 60. But again, unless you're being guided by a professional, I would not go below those numbers just for the function of your body and your health. So let's recap a little bit. Protein intake. You want to eat around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. For maintenance slash muscle gain purposes, you can go a little bit lower if it's hard to reach your goal. For example, if I have a client who weighs 165, I can tell her, all right, let's try for 135 and see how that goes. If she's able to hit it, if that feels comfortable and we're seeing results, great. Carb intake, at least you guys, at least 100 grams. I don't care who you are, at least 80 to 100 grams per day. Again, it does vary based on your goals and your individual body, your individual needs, and that's why you'd hire someone like me, a coach, to help you through that. But carb intake is very important. And then fat intake, for everybody, at least 70 grams. I know I said 65, but let's just round up to 70. As you know, the fat is pretty easy to get in because it's way more calorie dense. For example, you have a serving of peanuts, it's only about like this much, it's not very much, and you're able to get, I think it's like 18 grams of fat in one serving. So that's your whole day, okay? That's your whole one single day. Now I'm gonna break it down a little bit more. So how often should you eat? All right, so this is where people start getting a little, it's getting some holdups. The more frequently you eat, the more stimulated your metabolism is going to be, meaning your metabolism is going to be healthier for it. So, for example, if I have a client that eats one meal at the end of the day, they're probably going to binge eat. This is probably a lot of you. Not eat all day. Eat a shitload of calories at the end of the day, like 1,200 or 1,600 or 2,000 calories at the end of your day, and you're wondering why things aren't working out for you and you feel like garbage because there's not a consistent flow of energy in your body, first of all. And second of all, you're making it harder on your metabolism to absorb your calories correctly, absorb your nutrients correctly, and to actually utilize what you're putting in. So I ideally want people eating 5 meals a day. If you can hit 3, great. If you can hit 4, even better. 5, excellent. 6, even better. I don't expect people to hit 6 meals a day. That's quite difficult unless you're, really on top of it. But for those of us that are athletes, those are things we're gonna look at and we're gonna consider when it comes to our actual goals, our physique goals, our performance goals. But 3 to 5 meals a day is a good starting point. Consistency, yeah. So you don't need to worry too much about the timing of your meals, but of course it's great to spread your meals out throughout your day so you're getting a consistent flow of energy. This is common sense, but I know that when we get busy, it's easy to let this go out the window. A good thing for you to do is meal prep. That's another topic. Next thing. Let's talk about your exercise, and your workout routine. This is where it gets a little tricky for those of you that are new in the fitness world or that simply just don't know what you don't know. When it comes to exercise for health purposes, you need 180 minutes of cardio per day. Per week. I think this is according to the FDA for heart health purposes. So this can be kind of a little bit of a gray area, but I would say my recommendations for the average person is 3 resistance training sessions per week. 2, you could probably get by with 2, but 3 is even better. And a little bit of cardio in there as well, so maybe 2 cardio sessions as well. You don't need to do a lot and you don't need to kill yourself. Just get your heart rate up. So I'll talk about cardio in a second, but as far as your resistance training goes, what do you need to do? If you're hitting 3 workouts per week, I want you to be doing total body every time. If you're hitting 4 workouts per week, let's do upper, lower, upper, lower. You're doing 5, let's do shoulders, legs, back and biceps, legs, and chest and triceps. There we go. So these things can be changed based on the individual. Again, if you need extra guidance, reach out to me. As far as your cardio is concerned, a good cardio session is probably about 25 minutes. This is the baseline prescription I give to people. 25 minutes 2 or 3 times a week is excellent. On top, in addition to your weightlifting, in addition to your resistance training. By resistance training, you don't need to be in the gym, but you do need to be challenging your actual muscles. When we're doing resistance training, we're not doing it for the sake of getting your heart rate up. We're not doing it for the sake of getting you sweaty. We're doing it to stimulate the muscles. When we stimulate the muscles, after your workout is done, that's what generates growth. So you're not growing inside your workout, you're growing when you're recovering. I know many of you already know that. But resistance training is separate from your cardio training. Cardio, like I was saying, 25 minutes, 5-minute warm-up, 15 minutes of working time, and 5-minute cool down is great start. So when I'm talking about that 15-minute of working time, get your heart rate up depending on your age and your status. Get your heart rate up to about between 135 and 150 is great. An even better measurement of how hard you should be working is the RPE scale, the rate of perceived exertion scale. So I would recommend that you're hitting 6 or 7 on the RPE scale. So you should feel a little sweaty, you should feel your heart rate up, and you should be breathing heavily. So let's recap. You want to get 2 or 3 total body workouts per week, or some other split we talked about. And in addition, 2 or 3 cardio sessions per week. Okay, so we've talked about the diet, we've talked about the resistance training, and we've talked about the cardio. Now, the little details are gonna, come together as you go. It's a snowball kind of with information. There's a lot to absorb when it comes to fitness and health and things like that. And your exact path is very different from anyone else's path. Okay, so again, this is where you can reach out to somebody for guidance if you need it. You can always reach out to me. Information is free. Now, when it comes to supplementation and things like that, that's when it gets a little bit nitpicky. So I would say for most people, you really don't need to be taking a lot of supplements. It's a waste of money, I'm telling you that. As someone who's taken 30 pills a day and 0 pills a day, it can be a waste of money. That is not to discourage you from taking whatever your doctor prescribes, whatever your health specialists tell you to take. But I'm gonna just say a good baseline is get a good multivitamin. An athlete's multivitamin is gonna serve you a lot better than your Flintstones gummies. I'm just saying you can get an athlete's multivitamin from somewhere like GNC and be golden. Sorry, they're not chewable. And they don't taste good. Okay, as far as other supplements you should or need to take, none. I mean, here in Washington State, it's a good idea for us to be taking vitamin D and vitamin B and so on because we don't get a lot of sun. But those things are specific to your actual diet and your actual bodily needs and your blood work and your previous health history and so on, and any genetic things that are going on. Okay, so those are pretty much the basics of getting started in your fitness journey. First and foremost, just be consistent. Whatever you're choosing to do, just be consistent. And also, I want to outline, it's a great idea to figure out your why. So what I mean is, when you're starting getting your stuff nailed down, think about, why am I doing this? When you have a day when it's like, I really don't want to adhere to the goals that I set before, you can go back to your why. Okay, so for me, when I first started my fitness journey years ago, my why was, I want to have better overall health, and I'm hoping that by improving my physical health, it will improve my mental health by default. So my why was to improve the way I felt. And also another why for me is I wanted to transform my body because I felt as if the outside did not match the inside. Okay, so that was a major motivator for me. So I would recommend, before you do anything, write in your notebook or write on your notes on your phone your why. Why do I want to get more consistent and more precise with my diet, my exercise, and my supplementation? Oh, one thing that we should talk about is water intake as well, since we're getting to the end. I'm gonna say try to hit a gallon of water per day. Gonna be challenging. You're gonna pee a lot, but it's okay. Your body will adjust. You might not necessarily need the full gallon if you're like a small person, but go for it anyway. You'll learn what is too much water and what is just enough and what is not enough, and you're gonna feel a difference. But the water intake is very critical. Many people nowadays don't have too much of a problem drinking water, but my recommendation is about a gallon of water per day. Okay, last, a few little tips for you as you're just starting. Try your best to stay away from liquid calories unless you're somebody that is struggling to get your calories in. So what I mean is, don't be drinking soda and don't be drinking like coffee or other drinks that has tons of calories. I'm not saying you have to cut it completely. I'm just saying be conscious of it and do track it, and that's gonna help you out. It's pretty much common sense at this point, but it's a great idea to be eating real food. What I mean is cook your food, okay? Try not to eat out too much because it's very, very difficult for you to track your food when you're eating out. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult, especially when you're just beginning. So try your best to get in the kitchen, okay? And it might be a good opportunity for you to get connected with your inner chef if you've never done that before. Sum it up and make it simple and short. 3 to 5 meals a day. We already talked about the actual intake. You want to spread your intake out consistently throughout your 3 to 5 meals. So protein, fat, and carbs in every meal. About a gallon of water per day. Get a multivitamin. Get an athlete's multivitamin, please. Not the fucking gummies. Resistance training, at least 3 sessions. I'm gonna say at least 2 or 3 sessions per week. The split varies depending on your goal. And then your cardio goal, at least 2 25-minute sessions, 3 even better, 4 you're kind of on the edge, depending on who you are. So yeah, if you have more questions, hit me up. I'm always here and I'm always here to help. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.